Perth is the latest casualty of the volcanic ash cloud that's affected air travel in Adelaide, Melbourne and Tasmania in recent days. Virgin Australia and Qantas have both suspended flights in and out of the West Coast capital. Let's go to reporter Jane Norman, who's at Perth Airport. So, Jane, when does this suspension take effect and how long is it expected to last?
Well, both Qantas and Virgin will cancel all flights in and out of Perth from 1 o'clock local time, when the ash plume is actually expected to start drifting over the city. Now, it's unclear when the suspension will be lifted. Both airlines saying they're watching the situation closely, but ultimately, I suppose, it just depends when the ash cloud actually dissipates.
And Jane, Virgin is still flying in and out of other cities affected by the ash when Qantas has suspended all of its flights. So why has Virgin halted services to Perth?
You're right, Perth is the only city that Virgin has cancelled flights into and out of, and that's because the plume that's expected to come is actually about 15,000 feet above ground, which is far lower than the ash cloud that was over the east coast of Australia. Now, Virgin says that ash, can affect a plane's engine, and so it's just not willing to risk passenger safety.
What's been the reaction among passengers at the airport there to the news?
Well, passengers are really just frustrated. Nobody's telling them what's going on. Even the boards at the airport aren't listing which flights are actually cancelled. So they're just sort of waiting until they get some information and waiting to find out, I suppose, when they'll actually be able to fly to their destinations. So just to sum up, Tasmania and Perth are the only two Australian cities still affected by the ash plume. All flights have been resumed in and out of Melbourne and Adelaide. And here's what a few passengers at the Adelaide airport had to say earlier.
Well, we spent all day here yesterday and they rebooked us and then they cancelled again. So we've stayed with friends in Adelaide, so they had to come back in and get us again. So we're trying hard to get out today.
What's the point? They know what's going on. Why not man the phones? Why not have some sort of communication from there? Because even on their website it just says delayed or estimated time still, but nothing.
Really bad.
Mine was crystal clear.
Apologies about that. That was passengers in Adelaide you heard from, and before that, reporter Jane Norman, who is at Perth Airport.